What is up, dirtbags? So we're back at it. We won another local RTT with our Grey Knights. We're going to talk about the whole missions, the 3 games that we played, the opponents, tactics, all the fun stuff. So if this is the first time you are watching this video, we have a bunch of different tournament videos going on the channel. If you guys aren't subscribed, really appreciate it if you would. Once we get up to 1,000, we do live streams at tournaments. So I already talked to the store. We can get the overhead projector. You guys can watch and kind of comment along. But today we're going to go over, I played Eldar twice, and then we played, who was our second opponent? We played Eldar, Grey Knights, and then Eldar for the final battle. So we're going to go over, again, the tactics on what we did throughout the game. I take pictures because I can't record while I'm playing. It just would be way too long. And then at the end, we'll go over what I learned and what we could have done better and how I changed up the list and stuff like that. So if you guys saw the thumbnail, we did go with Dreadnoughts today. I was in the beginning of the day, like painting to get 3 colors on the Dreadnoughts or knots so I can get my paint score up. But let me show you guys the picture to start. So this is the army. So we'll go through it. I have it right here on the side. We did a Prescient Brotherhood today. We didn't do sword bearers. I tested out sword bearers. I didn't really see a huge benefactor to running sword bearers when Prescient has such a good stratagem and a CP strat or warlord trade and stuff like that. So you can run sword bearers. It's just they're venerable dreads, so they don't really benefit from it. It's really just the Dread Knights. But yeah, I'll explain that in a little bit. So we went with Prescient. We did bring 2 Servitor units. In this list, I have 2, but I switched it to 3. I did bring the 1 30-point upgrade where if they deep strike within 12 inches of a unit, you can shoot them if they come in from reserves. Didn't really come into play at all, so that's kind of why I took it out. But we have 2 Techmarines. One has Warp Shaping and Divination. So he's the one that's going to be casting the +1 CP every single turn, hopefully. And then the other one has Sanctuary and the Ethereal Conduit, which is the auto heal 3 for vehicles, which comes in clutch almost every single time. Then we got our Dreadnought Grandmaster. He's in almost all my lists. Gate of Affinity, Empiric Amplification, Hammer of Righteousness, which I think I forgot till the 3rd game, Unyielding Anvil, which is the 6-inch aura of Obsec, and the Teleporter, obviously. Silencer, Side Cannon, Great Sword, Servant of Throne, which is the 3++ once per game, and the Sigil, where if he gets targeted, he can then shun away, which almost every opponent now that plays me just never ever targets him, so he's kind of just being there. And then we have 3 strikes. I started including incinerators on all my strikes. It's just free upgrade that if they deep strike, they can incinerate something, or if they have Overwatch, they can it's just a good weapon for free on the squad. Then we have our elite choice. Again, this wasn't here. You're not even seeing what I'm saying, but it's another Servitor unit. Let's get rid of that. And then we have 3 Venerable Dreads. Now, Venerable Dreads, they're 15 points more than a regular Dread. They hit on 2s. They have a 6-up, feel no pain. And it's really all you need to know about them. So they just hit on 2s with range and melee. And they have a 6-up, feel no pain. So they are good. And I'll tell you the strat that I used of them, but we bought 3 of them with 3 multi-meltas and 3 close combat weapons. We have an Interceptor squad. They're there just kind of like do objectives and just get up the board fast. And then 3 Dread Knights with all kitted out the same way. And one of them, we added a teleporter later on. So let's go into the first game. So this is the list. Let's go into game number 1 against Eldar. This was the terrain setup. It's the same every single time. So if you guys are going to alternate universes, they run a really good tournament, and they keep everything pretty symmetrical. So we have 2 ruin buildings right here, and then we have 2 line of sight blocking buildings on this side. We have 2 ruins in the middle, ruin in the back corners, and then forests, all like 4 forests on the sides to kind of block the lines. So now this mission, we had 1, 2, 3 objectives, 4, 5 in our deployment zones, and the whole goal was to kind of control the center. And this is the 9-inch deployment from the center. So I happened to have turn 1. His Eldar setup was he had a big cannon. He had 2 of these things. He had a bunch of dudes set up in this building. He had Viper, another Viper, these jump pack, or these bike guys, this big toughness 8 walker dude, and a character, and a bunch of characters over here. So my turn 1, I set up, now I have the redeploy 3, which is you should always bring for Grey Knights. So my setup was I had 2 Dreadnoughts over here. I had everything else, Grandmaster, a Dread in the building, Interceptors, Strikes, and then Servitors kind of blocked the path. And I had another Servitor unit in the middle. So my turn 1, I was able to shunt. I'm sorry, I redeployed the 2 Dreadnoughts over here. I started moving everybody up so I can get line of sight on his one tank that was right here, one of the other big gun tanks. So I was able to move up 9, so get all my Dreadnoughts over here. I had I redeployed one of my Dreadnoughts off the table to walk in from reserves, and I think I redeployed my Interceptors from back there into this building. So one came off the field, one Dreadnought redeployed over here, and then one Interceptor squad redeployed right here. So they hopped out, got the center objective. The Servitors kind of moved up, got this objective, and then I moved everybody up this way to get line of sight on their tank. Now we were in the 30-inch range thing where I can shoot 30 inches with my side weapons. That's how I was able to get the range on his tanks. And then I basically just kind of chilled back. Now this one Dread, what I do is Shadow of Undying Legends, which you spend 1 CP and they can reroll 1s to wound within 6 inches of them. So basically all these Dreadnoughts, or these 2 Dreadnoughts, are rerolling 1s to wound and rerolling 1s to hit with the Grandmaster. Like, it's such a good tanky combo. It's very good. So he then had turn 2. He moved basically everybody up to get line of sight on, try to kill this Dread. He had a flyer, which was in reserves. This guy we killed. This guy was in reserves with the fire dragons and the one of the leaders. These guys we killed turn 1. They were on the objective, and then these guys are deep strike, I believe. And this was in my reserves. So I deep strike this guy. This guy was walking on, and the scouring. I don't know if that was the mission. Yeah, that might have been the mission. No, that wasn't the mission. It was 9 inches. All right. So this was the setup. Oh, sorry, that was the deployment. So this is the setup. So this is the tank that I was talking about. That was his other walker dude. There was the Viper. He had 5 sniper dudes right here, which my Dreadnought, I think, got gated and then was able to just shoot and get on the objective. He had a couple dudes in the building, and we basically killed this tank and the sniper dudes turn 1, and we shot off the 3 unit of bikes. So now his turn 1, he brought this thing in with the fire dragons to come out and try and kill my Dreadnought because they're within 18 inches. Now I had to think, where if they deep strike within 12, I was able to shoot them, but nobody deep struck within 12 because they're all smart. This turn we moved up. My Grandmaster got targeted, so he then shunted or got teleported behind this building, so that way nobody else can shoot him. So the next turn I was able to just move up and kind of put some shots onto this Viper that hopped out from behind the building. So this tank that was over here hiding moved over here, was trying to get a shot on and finish off my one Dreadnought to kill the Dreadnought. Everything else basically moved up. These guys are trying to run up and heal these 2 Dreadnoughts that got shot. This Dreadnought walked onto the table to get within 12 inches of this dude, but it didn't matter because I think he made a save or something. These guys deep struck here to get on the objective. This thing moved up on the objective. These guys kind of hung back with the multi-meltas. Servitors are doing their job, holding the center objective. Interceptors hopped out 12 inches. I put Sanctuary on them, and they were able to charge and kill, I think, these snipers and one of the characters over here. These guys are kind of just hanging back, casting the Sanctuary on this back objective, and Servitors did not die. So the funny thing about Servitors is they have a 4-up save. In this thing. It's you get +1 save, +1 or -1 to shoot them, the forest that we play at AU. So they have a 3-up save and they have armor contempt, which is pretty freaking funny. So servitors aren't bad now. What was next turn? What died? Everything else looks good. All right, cool. So now this tank moved over. He's trying to basically put pot shots on my Grandmaster. The Banshees, these chicks that were in the building, basically auto advanced, was able to charge on my strikes as well as my servitors. So he combo charged to try and take over this objective. He killed, I think, 3 of my strikes. I rolled pretty good. I think I needed to roll 4s or 5s, and I rolled like 3 5s. So 3 of them survived, and he killed the other 2, I believe. And then we were able to kind of just strike back and keep them up in combat, and I still held that objective. Everything else over here, he moved up. I think he failed the charge on this. I think he needed like a 4. He rolled a 2. This tank stayed back. This thing, Viper, moved over. And then we still have a character right here. This guy is a beat stick in combat. His one Psyker dude. He basically just keeps killing my strikes, even with Sanctuary up. And let's go into the final turn. We basically just moved up everything. These guys deep struck over here to try and kill my backfield. I think I just had Servitors in here, so not really a scary unit in the back. This thing came on reserves, this flyer. We were able to battle back for that objective. The Grandmaster moved up. He put Imperium amplification on this tank. And it lived, so then just basically hopped back over there. Dreadnought finished off the rest of this tank and Voidwalker dude over here. Same with this guy. Then all he has left is this guy, a big tank, these guys that deep struck, and this thing over here. So really he's just trying to get as many points as possible. We then turned around with our Dreadnought and Dreadnoughts, and we finished off killing this tank because I had to bring it down. So we basically moved back, finished off killing these guys. These guys we left alive. We killed that tank over there, and I think the Dreadnought tied up one of these dudes. So we had a pretty consistent turn one. Was we basically just stayed back, shot the key targets that we needed to shoot, because when you have 2 of these big Eldar tanks that kind of like they go together, they shoot one, and then one big shot gets to shoot all of the tanks. It ignores invuln saves. So it's like, all right, I have to kill that thing as soon as possible. So turn one, we were able to kill it, and then slowly just pick off what we need to do the rest of the game. So this is the final score. We brought Stranglehold, Bring It Down, and Warp Ritual, which I maxed out. Bring It Down, I got 13, which was the max, and then 15 for Stranglehold. Holding the center objective with Servitors was pretty funny. And then mission, we basically maxed out every single time. He had 15 for the mission, 4 for Bring It Down, 12 for Octaria's Data, and to the last, I killed all of his last targets. I think it was the Flyer and 2 of the big tanks, which I was like, all right, I have to take those down as soon as possible. So we had 88. Now we don't add the 10-point painting score until the very end. So if your army is painted, they add 30 points at the end of the battle. It only determines basically second and third place. Yeah, I think second or third place, it determines that. First place, you should win either way. So next game, we got Grey Knight. So this was super fun. I think I played this guy when I first started 9th edition at AU, and he basically taught me how to play 9th edition again. And it was cool. It's always cool playing Grey Knights at first Grey Knights because you both know the army. And he actually brought a completely different list than I did. He brought the Terminator spam. Not spam, but a lot more Terminators than I did. He bought a Hammer, Grandmaster, Drago, and a Librarian with Mortal Wounds. He brought 2 Interceptor squads, a Strike squad, 2 Terminator squads, 3 Dreadnoughts, and then everything else down here was not in the list. But this was his 2K list, kind of foot slog, and shooting from heavy support of those guys. So let's start it off. This was the deployment. He basically just put everybody against the line of sight, blocking terrain. He had his Grandmaster right here. His Librarian was right behind him. Interceptors, Termies, Interceptors. Basically, he deploys the same way I did. And he has the obviously redeploy 3. So then over here, we have the same thing. I have the redeploy 3 as well. So he got first turn in this game, which I was like, all right, it's okay, because with Ties of Shadows, your Dreadnoughts don't really do as much as they should. So Ties of Shadows, I think we were both in on turn 1, so that we didn't really have a lot of shooting going on turn 1. This was his movement turn 1. He basically redeployed everybody kind of up, moved forward. He got this objective over here. He put both Terminator units out here. He gated the one Terminator unit over here. This is the Grand Master behind this building. Librarian moved up to the very edge. He had an Apothecary right here in the middle of everybody. Drago and the Dread over there. And I think he shunted this Interceptor squad over here. He then gated these Termies to be on the objective. So basically had 2 Terminator units on the objective. And I was like, well, shit. I'm not moving these Terminator units at all. So then he basically just shot my Grandmaster, which I didn't shunt. I kind of just stayed there and took the shots. I did roll pretty shitty. Look, I'm already down to 10 on turn 1. So my turn. Let me turn this for you guys. All right, let me try and explain what's going on here. Servitors ran out on the objective to try and block these Terminators from doing anything. Interceptors hopped out from the objective, or from back here, hopped out. Strike Squad moved out. Grandmaster shunted all the way up here. You know what? I think I did sigil. Yeah, I think he was down here with 10 wounds. I was like, well, I'm getting shot. So I sigiled up behind this building to be 9 inches away from the, 9 inches away from the Interceptors. So that way on my turn, I could just move up and take this objective back, because he has OBSEC. So even if I don't kill the whole unit, which I did, and I left one guy, I was able to take that objective back from him. So that's what I did. As I shunted up here, I then moved up and then shot and charged the Interceptors. All my Grey Knights, Dreadnoughts kind of moved out. We reserved, I believe, 2 Dreadnoughts. 2 or 3 Dreadnoughts we reserved, because I think one might be in the building, but I don't see. No, he's right here. So we reserved 2 Dreadnoughts and 1 stayed on the thing. So we healed up whatever we can heal up over here. We moved all of our Dreadnoughts to get line of sight of these Termies, and my whole goal was just blow up the Terminator squad and kill his Warlord. His Warlord, if it's not on the battlefield, you don't get a CP. So on my turn 1, my whole goal was to just surround this Librarian, or this Apothecary, as much as possible. So the biggest thing that he learned playing me was Ties of Shadows. You need to be all in cover to get -1 to hit, which he didn't know. So we looked it up, and you have to have your whole unit within cover. So I think he had 2 Terminators that weren't in cover. So when I was shooting at him, I didn't get the -1 to hit. He still gets the +1 save, like that doesn't matter. But the -1 to hit is huge with Grey Knights if you're not in cover. So I put, and also he learned line of sight. So line of sight is from the model. So he's touching this building. He can see through this 2nd floor window to see his Terminators. So this got me on the first tournament that I ever went to. The guy's basically like, oh, I can see your sword. I was like, well, it's a weapon. It doesn't count. He's like, no, it does count. It's line of sight. It's like, all right, that makes sense. So ever since then, I've been playing true line of sight with all the models, and then measure from the base. So this tip of the sword can see through the window into the Terminators. Like, put your eye down, you can see it, and then they can shoot you back, obviously, but at least you're able to shoot them and do some damage to them. So I was able to get all 3 Dreadnoughts to see the Terminator squad, the Dreadnought multi-melta into the Terminator squad, and this Grandmaster was able to shoot and kill the Interceptors. So after, I think there was 2 Terminators left and the Apothecary, so I was able to charge the Apothecary with 1, 2, 3, 4 5 Interceptors. He killed one of them. So I charged with all 5 Interceptors. I charged the strikes into the Terminators. and I was able to get this one last Terminator down to 2 wounds, and we killed the Apothecary turn 1. I took over the center objective because now he only has 1, 2, 3 on the center objective. He also did learn that OBSEC is, once there's an OBSEC model on the objective, it then goes to models on the objective. So if you have 1 and he has 1, then you count the models. If you have 5 and he has 1, you still count the models. So even if you have all OBSEC units on the objective, it still only counts as 1 OBSEC model, and then you count models. So we also learned that. So even if I had 1 strike squad on here and a shit ton of servitors, I still get it. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys on the objective. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 on the objective. So I was able to take the center objective from him. I basically had to try and survive these Terminators coming back and killing all my guys. He had the big Hammer Grandmaster right behind him. Dreadnoughgts moving up. Drago, Librarian. So these guys are basically dead. All right. But I kind of knew that going into it. So let's move to the next turn. Almost everybody's dead. So I was able to block some psychic powers. My Grandmaster lived on, I think, 2 wounds, and then I had to heal him with my 1 Techmarine. So I shunted him back. I spent 2 CP and I shunted him back over to here to get healed with the dude, so he doesn't die, because if my Warlord dies, then we get a CP. We had the Dreadnought move up. We had this guy move up. This guy, I think, got gated over to here. Or no, he might have just moved up and charged the Dreadnought that was living right here. So the Dreadnought that was in front of Drago moved up and then charged, I think, into my Grandmaster and failed because he had to go around the building. And so then my Dreadnought moved up, shot, and then charged to kill it to get on that objective to take that objective back. He had Hammerhand on him, so he did some work. Drago moved up, helped out with this unit, but I think he failed his charge. The Library moved up, did a shit ton of mortal wounds to my guys. The big beatstick Grandmaster moved up and just swept and just killed my entire squad. This Dreadnought moved up and took over the objective. I still had 2 strikes left on the objective. I think I moved, like I fell back to just keep that objective from him. So that was good. And then over here, these guys are just staying here the entire game. Now we brought on the Dreadnoughts this turn. So we brought 1 Dreadnought on right here. And I believe we brought another Dreadnought up here. Do you see the little shoulder pad? I think that's my other Dreadnought walking up here. I wanted to basically just shoot Drago with a multi-melta within 12-inch range just to try and kill Drago, because I've had that done to me so many times. So I walked on and basically tried to shoot Drago, and he made a save. So I didn't get to kill Drago that turn. But the other Dread moved up here. Was able to kind of put shots onto the last Terminator unit, put shots on Terminators, shots on Terminators, shots on Terminators, finish up the Terminators. So all we have is really 3 characters, 2 Dreadnoughts, and a squad of Interceptors back here. I think the other strike squad was over here going after my Dreadnought up here. So now we're moving into kind of towards the final game. We have his Librarian still alive with 2 wounds. I basically shot everything into him. We have this guy who's just slapping my my Dreadnought over here. He's got Empiric Amplification on my Dreadnought, and I have Empiric Amplification on him. So we're basically just putting our own spells on each other. Dragon moved up and I think charged my 1 Dreadnought up here. That Dreadnought spent 1 CP to fall back, and we then just try and, I think I'd assassinate, so I wanted to kill his characters as soon as possible. These guys all moved up. These guys fell back, or they might have just moved back off the objective. And then let's see how we ended. He still has a Dreadnought moving back to try and kill my Dreadnought in this, which he succeeded. So he's able to finish off my Dreadnought that try to kill Drago. This turn we had this guy. He's able to fall back, still move, shoot, and charge. So my Tech Priest went Kamehameha and charged his Librarian, which didn't really do shit. This guy finished off Drago with a sweep attack. This guy is just tanking everything. Took multi-meltas to the face and 2 charges from these 2 guys. The other strike squad moved out, finishes attacking this Dreadnought. These guys are moving up. Grandmaster's trying to get back in the fight. He's basically all healed up from the other Tech Priest. Dreadnought's still alive back here somehow. That's why this guy's coming over to trying to finish him off. And then this is the last turn. So we killed all of the characters. This is the last unit he had over here. He had a Dreadnought left, which didn't matter to me. He killed my dude back here. And that's it. So what was the final score? Final score was 45-95? 85? So we had 45 from the main thing, 15, 13, and 12. So 10, 20, 30, 35, 38, 39, 40. So, yep. So we had 85 points against... He had 8, 8, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2 every single battle, or every single round. He had Stranglehold 3, 6, 9. Grind him down. He didn't grind me down like at all during the game. I think he might have got it one turn. I don't think so though. And bring it down. He got 2, 3, 4, 5. So he basically got 5 points for that, 9 for Stranglehold, and then grind it down. I don't think he grind. I think I tried to stop grinding almost every single turn. So, Sean, great game, fun games. Always good to get going against Grey Knights. He learned a lot, and I learned how freaking powerful the Hammer Grandmaster is. I was texting him the end of the game, or a couple days later, about changing up the list a little bit, and he's definitely gonna try what I was suggesting. Which, let me look up what I was talking to him. Okay, so it was a brother captain with a hammer. Still same weapon skill. I think 1 less wound or something. But a brother captain is able to reroll 1s to wound within 6 inches. So him and Drago next to each other. Everything within 6 inches is able to reroll 1s to hit. Drago can then put out on a Dreadnought, like, who goes away, reroll everything. And then everything within 6 inches reroll 1s to wound as well. So that works with bolts of fire, that works with your Dreadnoughts. It works with a lot. So switching out the Grandmaster for Brother Captain is definitely a good combo, because he still does the same thing a Grandmaster does, just maybe with one less wound or 1 less attack, but still hits on 2s, still shoots on 2s. Mastercraft and Stormbolter like has all the same stuff. Just reroll 1s to wound. So. And putting teleporters on Dreadnoughts. So at least 1, so that you can get 1 up and then gate the other one. It's very, very good. Last game against Dan, another Cuddle Buddy. These are our new t-shirt, or what are they called? Uniforms. Not uniforms, jerseys. So we got baseball jerseys with kittens on them. I didn't vote for this, but it's all super pink. We're going to stand out during Nova, so if you guys are going Nova, hit me up. We got the Cuddle Buddies, we got our numbers, and we got our names on the back. I'm apeshit if you guys see me. So this is the final mission. It looks pretty freaking similar, because it's the same battle as I played the other Eldar dude on. And he had basically a similar list, except he brought these Sweeping Hawks, I believe, into the battle, and 2 units of these 2 wizard dudes. So they're not characters, they're units now. 2 of these big tanks, one of this big toughness 8 dude, a bunch of dudes in the middle here. This flyer, another big tank, jet bike, sniper dudes. So basically set up almost exactly the same way. All right, so how did I set up? I put all my dreads in this corner here, one behind here who has the shunt teleporter, so in case he needs to teleport out, we can teleport him out. 2 tech priests right next to him. I think I had a dreadnought right here. We reserved the other 2 dreadnoughts, which I again, if you have the 30-point upgrade to put people in reserves for free, it's a great strategy to put your dreadnoughts on the table and then put them in reserves for free. And my whole goal is, if I have turn 1, I want to put all 3 or at least 2 of them in reserves for free, and then everything else I can just move the way I set it up. So we had interceptors back here behind the cover, these guys over here behind the cover, servitors, dreadnought, and then dreadnoughts. All right, so who had turn 1? I had turn 1, so I was super aggressive turn 1. I did the same strategy as I did before. These fire prisms are freaking deadly. With 1 of them, you get saves. 2 of them, and he combos it, you don't get any saves. So I was like, all right, I have to kill this freaking thing as soon as possible. So I was super aggressive. I redeployed, I think, one of my Dreadnoughgts up. No, I didn't redeploy. I shunted and then I gated the other one. So what I did was I moved these two up 9 or 7. One was in the forest. The other one was right outside the forest. But I wanted to kill these rangers to get them off the objective. I wanted to take the center objective, which I think I did with my strikes, and then I put Sanctuary on them. And then over here, I spent 2 CP. We shunted over. I spent 1 CP to extend my range by 6. I spent 1 CP to roll 3 dice, drop the lowest, and then I spent another CP to cast another spell. I measured this guy 24 inches away because your gate now gets an extra 6 inches, so you can gate somebody 24 inches away. So I was 24 inches away with this guy who started behind this building. He basically just moved up, stayed within 24 inches of my Grandmaster, and then I rolled a Empiric Amplification onto this tank, which I think it went off, and then I gated my other Dreadnought all the way over here, who had the +1 to hit from my tech priest. So they all have both line of sight to this tank, and this guy moved up on the objective. So I have objective, objective. This guy didn't get the objective, and objective. So there's my stranglehold right there. He's got so much shit in this building, which is just crazy. But we were able to blow up this thing up turn 1, and then we put some other pot shots in there. And then I think we killed the sniper dudes. So that was basically my turn 1. Now let's go to turn 2. He basically brought everybody out. So his turn 2, he brought out the snipers from behind here over to here to get this objective. He brought these biker units up. Oh, so that's what happened. I charged the rangers. I made it, and then I pivoted into the forest. So when you consolidate, I charged outside the forest, and my intention was to stay an inch away from the ranger. And then during my consolidate, I pivoted to touch the forest, right? Because you're kind of ending closer to the model. And if you're pivot, you're ending closer to the closest unit, and you're in the forest. Now you get -1 to hit him in the forest. That's a little good strat, is when you charge something near a forest, stay outside the forest. And then when you consolidate, just pivot into the forest and you're good. So that's cool. So now they're both in the forest over here. These guys hopped out, stole the objective back from me. These guys scooted out. These guys stole the objective. Now this is what's going on over here. We have the really hard-hitting Banshee chicks. We have a bunch of Psykers. Like there's 3 or 4 Psykers here. The toughness 8, hard-hitting dude. These guys that shoot a shit ton on 6s, they do AP3 shots or something. This guy, he has the wings and he can like teleport away and stuff. He came out. These guys stole the objective from me over here. What else? This guy flew from back here all the way over here to try and snipe my Dreadnought. My Dreadnought lived, I think, on 1 wound or something. Like I think I rolled like 3 or 4 6s for my Field of Pain, and he lived on 1 wound. So that was clutch. And then everything else is kind of surrounded. My Tech Priests are surrounded by my Servitors. So the Servitors are there to surround the Tech Priest, so Tech Priest doesn't get sniped. All right. So what is going on over here? Do I have a picture showing what happened? All right. So let me tell you what happened. This is kind of where it kind of swung in my favor a lot. He put +1 to wound on this guy. He was not shooting my Grandmaster because Dan is smart. If he shoots my Grandmaster just gets the fuck out of there. So he put like +1 to wound, +1 or reroll hits. Like he put everything as he can on this guy. I didn't stop any of it. And he shot almost everything at this guy. He lived on 1 wound. He finished it off with like a random pot shot onto him, maybe with a Viper or something. Like this Viper finished him off. So this guy's dead. He wanted to charge my Grandmaster instead of shoot him. So he wanted to charge with the big guy. He wanted to charge with the Banshees. He wanted to charge with this guy. So he wanted to basically charge everybody into my Grandmaster. He failed the charge with the chicks, or he auto charged. So he rolled a 6 to get the auto charge with the Banshee chicks. So what he did was he failed the charge with the big guy. It was like he needed like a 6 or something because the -2. So we needed an 8 with the -2. So he failed the charge of the big guy. He then had to use the auto 6 for these chicks who had +2 to charge. I think they made the charge, and then this guy failed as well. So he had 2 failed charges, and these guys came in and didn't really do as much as we thought to my Grandmaster. I think I procced my 3++ and was able to make a bunch of saves. So at the end of the turn, this is where we ended up. So not a lot left over here. So we were able to kill all of the Dire Avengers. We were able to kill that solo guy with smites and shooting because he can only take 3 per phase. So we were able to smite him and then shoot him to finish him off. We finished off the Banshees with my Grandmaster, and then this guy is still kind of standing there with 8 wounds. All the characters over here not really character protected. These guys, I think they walked over, Interceptors hopped over. These guys came out from the building to take this objective back, killed the Rangers over here. The 2 Dreadnoughts, if you can see them down in the corner here, they walked on. Now here's the thing about reserves. If you come onto your table edge and you're within 1 inch of your table edge, within, so the back of your base is within 1 inch of your table edge, you can then be within 9 inches of an enemy model if they're in your deployment zone and you're within 1 inch of your table edge. So that's the little strat that I've been using with the Dreadnoughts, is you walk them on reserves as like, all right, where do I need multi-meltas? So you walk on to your table edge, and then the freaking flyer is literally right in front of you. So you walk on and you just shoot 4 multi-melta shots into the flyer within 12 inches. So it's D6 plus 2 inches, or +2. They hit on 2s, right? Because they're Venerable Dread, so they hit on 3s against a flyer. And the one Dread that lived, I healed him back up to 4, gave him +1 to hit, so now he hits on 2s. So this flyer is just obliterated with 3 Dreadnoughts coming in, just multi-melting the shit out of it. So all these guys basically finished up whatever was left over here. But this big guy is still alive. All these characters are still alive. This Viper's still alive. These guys deep struck back here to try and get some shots on the character, as well as, on these Swooping Hawks who do so much crazy shit. So I put Empiric Amplification on them, and then just basically shot them as much as I can. These tank is still there, kind of going back and forth. He'll go up, shoot something, and then move back 6 inches behind the objective. These Dread Knights finished off this 3-man unit. I used their shots. One went straight down the line here to finish off these guys, and the other one basically just stayed back here to try and finish off these guys, Swooping Hawks. So he's able to get the line from here through here and shoot the Swooping Hawks. All right, so that is that, and then his turn. My Dreadnoughts moved up. They're basically not really doing too much. I took grind this game, so I had to make sure I didn't kill everybody on the table to make sure I keep getting points. So you want to kill maybe 2, if you can 3, to make sure that he doesn't steal grind from you. So what we did was we basically went after characters to try and kill like 1 or 2 characters to try and get our grind. So this one guy who's like the little 2-man unit, if we kill him, that's 1. Dreadnought moved up, try and put some pot shots into this tank. These guys are holding the objective, these guys are holding the objective. This guy, Gate of Affinity himself back here to try and finish off these guys who just kept hopping all over the board. We didn't finish them off, I think there was 1 left. And that was it. So we're basically winding down to the end of the game. He has this guy left, this big tank left, this little guy left, and this one Swooping Hawk that was over here that didn't die. So now he's just trying to get points. Gate of Affinity again, back over to here. These guys all moved up. We're basically, again, still trying to get grind. So I'm like, all right, how do I get one more kill the last turn to try and get grind the last round, and we got it. So grind, we maxed it out 15. Stranglehold, we maxed out 15. We got 4 the turn 1, and then 12, 12, 3 on the objectives every single time. He got 4, nothing, 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 3 on the first one. He got engage for 3, 2, 2, 2 for bring it down, and then Eldar shit. It was very hard. He basically couldn't do it because he had to cast other spells, but it was a psychic action I think he did or needed to do to get the other stuff. So Dan, great opponent, good player. I've been playing for a while now. 45, 45, so we got maxed out 90, and that was the last game. So wow. All right, so that was a cool tournament. It was a smaller tournament. It was a local RTT, but it was cool to play Grey Knights, and obviously to play Dan because I haven't played Dan in a long time. But I liked the list. I posted this in the Discord before I was going to play it, and testing out the 3 Dreadnoughts was just super fun. Putting them in reserves, being able to walk on almost on any table edge besides the opponent's table edge, and getting into the deployment zone, which is easy because they shoot 24 inches, hitting on 2s. They do have a Storm Bolter, so they can put Storm Bolters into like crappier units. They have a close combat weapon, which is strength like 12, -3, 3 damage, hitting on 2s, 5 attacks. They have armor resilience, so they can get +1 to their save. They have armor contempt, so they have a 3-up save, go down to a 2-up save with armor contempt. In Ties of Shadows, like they're super tanky if you want to put them on the battlefield and just kind of sit back and shoot from 24 inches away. The Dreadnoughts, I was very conservative with them. Most of the time I was able to shoot a couple times before they got into combat. The 2 Tech Priests helped out a lot, being able to give +1 to hit on any of the Dreadnoughts and heal them back up. So with this list, I have 3 Dreadnoughts that hit on 2s. I have 2 Dreadnoughts that hit on 2s and a Grandmaster that hit on 2s. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models, big models, vehicles in the list that all hit on 2s. They reroll 1s to hit with the Dreadnoughts if they're within 6 inches of the Grandmaster. And if I put the Undying stratagem on one of the Dreadnoughts, they all reroll 1s to hit or 1s to wound. So it's a very, very good combo. You basically put a Dreadnought in the middle, 3 Dreadnoughts around them, the Grandmaster next to them, and now all of them, besides the Grandmaster, can reroll. Well, the Dread doesn't get it, but the 3 Dreadnoughts reroll 1s to hit, hitting on 2s, and reroll 1s to wound. It's a cool combo. 3 strike squads were enough to have troops on the battlefield. 2 Servitor units. I brought 3 now. So again, I took out the 130-point upgrade and added another Servitor unit, so now I have 3 Servitor units. They're really good for Stranglehold on turn 1. You can put them as far forward as possible, and then you run them just on the objective on turn 1, so that way you don't have to throw a strike or intercept a squad in the middle of the objective. So that's what I've been trying with them, is you take Stranglehold for 3 objectives, you focus on the 2 that you really want to hold, and then in the center, you have your strikes waiting for turn 2, and then the Servitors run out. If you don't get enough speed, run the other Servitor unit. If you don't get enough speed, then you have a strike squad or interceptor squad to try and get out and get that center objective. The powers, we used warp shaping once against the Grey Knight army because we were in Ties of Shadows, I think, once. Everything else was the convergence one with it, which you shoot 30 inches. So yeah, it's a fun list. Not sure if I'm gonna take it anymore. I have a bunch of other lists that I really want to try. I sent out my paladins to get painted, so I really want to run paladins for the GTs coming up. So we have a GT coming up in August, and then we have another GT, which is Nova, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be hopefully going to Nova. If you are, definitely come up and say, I love talking about 40k. But yeah, we're always looking for battles. We have a bunch of stuff coming up at AU, once a month tournaments. We have the Battle Bunker if you guys want to get a local game in. If you guys are in the Northeast Pennsylvania, hit me up. We have alternate universes every Monday. We can get a game there. But guys, this I'm going to keep doing these if you guys keep liking them and commenting on them. Let me know what you guys want to see next. We have Sisters that are out getting painted right now, and then we have Nurgle, which I'm going to do some more Nurgle videos, or Death Guard, because I have to get Mortarion painted. I bought the Chaos Knight off of Nolan, so I have a Chaos Knight, big one coming in, and then just painting that army myself. So that's my only painted army. These guys, Dreadnoughgts, are old school paint job. I have the monster logo on them, and then these guys are my Servitors, which is like Where's Waldo, Mario, Kick-Ass, Hulk, what's the name, Homer, Goku, Superman. I think that's Buzz Lightyear back there. So that was my 16-year-old age, just painting random shit. And then 2 tech priests. Guys, appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Let me know what you want to see next. Join the Discord if you haven't already, and we'll see you in another video soon.